numbers. Now, to understand what transpired in the quarter gone by and what's the outlook going forward, let's get in chat with Shikhar Aggarwal, who's the Joint Managing Director at BLS International Services and also the Chairman at BLS E-Services. Hi, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today, Shikhar. Well, you've delivered a very strong set of numbers yet again, revenue up nearly 49%, profit up 27%. So tell us about the segments visa and consular business that continues to be your backbone. Tell us what is driving this surge. Is this purely volume growth or have you seen recent acquisitions like iData and Citizenship Invest? They have started to show results already in your second quarter numbers.
Yes, as you know, in terms of revenue, we have delivered the highest ever quarter for BLS International. Every quarter it's been a highest ever quarter, and this quarter also. We have delivered a revenue of 736 crores, which is a growth of 48% compared to similar quarter last year. And our EBITDA has also grown to 212 crores. Particularly if you talk about the visa segment, definitely our margins have now gone up to 41.9%. And, we've done an EBITDA of 192 crores in the visa business. Even in our digital service business, the EBITDA has gone up to 20 odd crores. This has a mix of factors. Our number of applications have definitely gone up. In this quarter, we did 11.3 lakh applications compared to 10.10 lakhs in the similar quarter last year. But we've also added newer contracts. We recently announced the winning of a contract for the Indian Embassy in China. We won a contract for the Cyprus Embassy in Slovakia. We have also won a contract for the UIDAI, a 2,500 crore contract that we will be deploying in the next 2 months. So definitely it's a mix of different factors, and the company remains strong.
Hi, Shikhar. Morning. This is Shrishti also joining in, but specifically let's touch on your margin profile. Given the sort of expansions and integrations that are at play, you have managed to sustain 29% as your EBITDA margin. What's the trajectory looking like going forward? Is there more room for expansion from these numbers, or because of so much going on with respect to integrations, they will be a little range bound?
See, if you see the segment reporting that we do in our visa service business, we have attained a margin of 41.9%. Which is a growth from 36% in last year, similar quarter. And if you see in our digital service business, there has been a little dip in margin because of the business that we acquired, RD Phyllis, which is a higher revenue and 3% margin only. So that is why if you see at a consolidated level, now our margin stands around 28.9%. And our immediate target is to maintain these margin numbers. We have really grown in terms of margin in the last few years. So our immediate target is to maintain these numbers.
All right. So the immediate target is, of course, to maintain these numbers. But, Shikhar, you were talking about some of the big projects. Now, you did win that 2,000 crore rupees Aadhaar Seva Kendra project from UIDAI. So when does the work start on it? And how much of this project is going to add to your overall revenue and profit for the next few years? What's the timeline like?
See, definitely, we have won a lot of new contracts. As we said, we recently won a contract for the Indian Embassy in China. We won a contract with the Cyprus Embassy. We have won a contract for the UAE attestation. We work for the contracts. We are also working for the US government. And this UIDI contract that we have recently won, will start operations from December onwards. In this contracts, we have to deploy around 300 offices around India. And it's a 5-year contract. And we will be getting money per transaction. So we expect as soon as we start volumes to start coming in. So definitely from next year onwards, revenue will start coming in.
All right, but lastly, Shikhar, the new 3-year MEA contract to run the Indian visa centers across China, that seems to be a big win for you. How important is this for your international business, and what's the scale that you are targeting there?
See, with the resumption of relationships between India and China and resumption of direct flights, we see a good surge in application coming in for the Chinese. As you know, Chinese tourists are one of the largest travelers around the world. So even a small share of their outbound travel into India will be a big boon for the GDP of India as well, even for the numbers for our company. So I think some numbers, what I saw was around 4 lakh Chinese visitors visiting India, previously before COVID. So I expect that from next year onwards, numbers should start coming in again. And definitely that will add to the revenue and margins of the company as well.
Growth outlook there. Next year is when we can see some momentum coming in from China travel. But on that note, Shikhar, we'll let you go. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for your time. And